now on YouTube. If you're just picking up this, I will do a rerun of the rankings for those of you that missed it. From 14 all the way to 7. At number 14, I had East Carolina. At number 13, I had North Texas. At number 12, I had Temple. 11, I have Rice. 10, I have Tulsa. 9, I have FAU. 8, Charlotte. And here we are at 7 with Navy. As I was saying, I've been a little bit surprised with Navy. I think there's a few more games they could win this year than I'm giving them credit for. At number 6, Tulane. Tulane could be higher, but I think they're going to tail off and end up winning 7 games at most. At number 5, after week 2, in the American is UTSA. Frank Harris is still their quarterback, but I have their game on right now, and they're down 30-21 with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And they're playing Army, and Army's not an easy team to play. I can tell you that UTSA is probably going to move down my rankings and be in that 9-10 range next week. At number 4, I have UAB. They're another team I've been very surprised with, and it's because of their coaching. It's because of Trent Dilfer. I have been surprised with Trent Dilfer as their coach so far. At number 3, Memphis. They are 3-0 on the season so far in the American. They beat Navy last night. I like Seth Hennigan. At number 2, SMU. They don't need run the ball. At number 1, I've got USF. And I've got something a little later in the show for you. Keys to victory for them for beating Alabama. Conference USA, this one's going to be a little different. I don't watch much Conference USA, so I'm just going to go over the rankings and tell you my opinion. So at number 8, I have New Mexico State. Number 7, after week 2 in Conference USA, I have Middle Tennessee State. Number 6, Sam Houston State. Number 5, UTEP. Number 4, FIU. Number 3, Louisiana Tech. Number 2, Liberty. And number 1, Western Kentucky. And now let's get to my updated Heisman list. At number 5 in my updated Heisman list after week 2 is North Carolina QB Drake May. I have Drake May here because he's had 2 good games. One of them was against South Carolina, which I don't really want to get into that because I had South Carolina doing good this year. But moving on. Number 4, J.J. McCarthy, quarterback, Michigan. He could be higher, but they have played absolutely nobody out of conference. And I understand he's probably played good in those 2 games so far, but I punish guys for not playing tough out of conference games. I'm not punishing the guy in front of him. And let's get to that. At number 3, for my updated Heisman list, I have Tennessee QB Joe Milton. And the way he can solidify and have his name on the list the rest of the season is by having a big game against the Gators tomorrow night. Robbie, this one was for you. I put him on here because you've talked him up a lot early in the season so far. So that is why Joe Milton is number 3 on this list. Number 2, I have a combination of 2 players from the same school. They're probably going to steal votes from each other. It is wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. and quarterback Kyle McCord, both from Ohio State. And one or both of them will be a finalist for the Heisman. I think it's probably going to be Marvin Harrison because he has a big season and they end up winning the Big Ten. But I could also see the same thing with Kyle McCord. I could see him getting some votes for Heisman. And number 1, does it really need any explanation? It's Caleb Williams from USC. Honorable mentions go to Spencer Rattler, South Carolina, Dante Moore, UCLA, Michael Penix, Washington, and Cam Rising, Utah. Games to watch week 3 of college football. The number 3 game to watch this week is Western Kentucky, Ohio State. And it's not for the reason you think. This is the first real test for Ohio State's secondary. Is Western Kentucky. They actually have viable wide receivers compared to Youngstown State and Indiana. Sorry to those 2 fan bases. No offense, but your wide receivers don't stack up to what Western Kentucky has. And same with your quarterbacks. Austin Reed is a really good QB, but I think Ohio State's going to get a lot of pressure on him and make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket. And I think Ohio State ends up winning big. My number 2 game to watch this weekend is Illinois Penn State. And the reason I have this on here is because the last time Illinois played Penn State, anyone have a guess what happened? Illinois upset Penn State. That was 2 years ago. 2. And I think it might happen again. Because I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I think Penn State might end up winning. I didn't have this as an upset because I think there's a 5% chance Illinois beats Penn State again. And my number 1 game to watch this week is Oklahoma versus Tulsa. I think this is Alex game of the week. And I say that because I think this is going to be a good old-fashioned shootout. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. And if you're betting on this game, I would click on the over. Whatever the over-under is, take the over. You'll thank me later and you'll win some money for it. On to some college football news now. As mostly the first piece of college football news is Ohio State has finally named its starting quarterback, and it is Kyle McCord, which is what everybody thought it was going to be. But Ryan Day decided to get cute and play the 2 QB game for the first 2 games of the season. It didn't really work against Indiana. And McCord played majority of the game against Youngstown State. And I know that because I was in person at the game. And I saw McCord is special. I don't get where people say, oh, Devin Bryant needs to be the starter. He's going to get his time. His time is not now. This is Kyle McCord's team. The locker room is buying into that narrative that it is Kyle McCord's team. Everybody wants to play for Kyle. Kyle McCord is going to have a big week this week. College football news note number 2. Mel Tucker. If y'all got a notification on your phone last week that Mel Tucker was fired from Michigan State, that is not true. Because it didn't came out later, like 10 minutes later, that he's not suspended. I mean, that he's not fired. He is suspended indefinitely without pay for doing some solicited things to a woman, to a female that worked at Michigan State. I'm not going to expose that person's name, as that's not the kind of host of my show that I am. I leave that to, and everybody can have their own take on it, perception, opinion, whatever you want to call it. I just leave it as it is. If I don't know the full story, I don't tell it, other than what I do know. And that is that what Mel Tucker did was wrong. And let's leave it at that. Now on to something I've been waiting for. Here are my 4 keys to victory for USF against Alabama tomorrow afternoon. Key number 1, limit the run game of Alabama. Do not let them run the ball for more than 100 yards. If you let them run the ball for more than 100 yards, you're most likely going to lose. And that's been proven. If you can't hold Alabama under 100 yards, you won't beat them. 99% of the time, you won't beat them. My number 2 key to victory for USF to upset Alabama tomorrow is limit the number of turnovers you have. Don't do dumb things. Like if you're doing a trick play, don't fumble the snap. If you fumble the snap, pick it up and don't do stupid things. If the ball's over your head on a kickoff, let it go out of the end zone. Same with a punt. If it's over your head, don't field it. Let it roll. If it rolls in the end zone and you start it to 25, so be it. But don't limit yourself to maybe 1 turnover the whole entire game. Key point number 3 for USF to pull the upset tomorrow against Alabama. Limit penalties. Do not be stupid and have procedural penalties or pre-snap penalties. If you see the play clock running down and you don't feel like you can get the snap off, call a timeout. Call a timeout. Limit penalties. Don't be stupid. Don't do stupid things after the whistle. If an Alabama player wants to get up in your face and try to draw a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, walk the other way. walk away. Don't be stupid and buy into what they and try to get them to doggy whip you into a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct or taunting. Don't do it. Be smart and walk away. And the last key to victory for USF tomorrow to pull off the upset is run the ball and control the pace of the game. As it says right there, run the ball to slow the pace of the game down. And you should always do that. Don't let them run the ball all over you, and then you look at the end of the game and you had under 20 minutes of time of possession. If you're USF and you have the ball, run the ball, because eventually you're going to get them to stack the box to think, oh, they're just going to run it. And then you could bomb one over the top, and it's a 60-yard touchdown. Or it's a touchdown. Simple as that. If they follow those four keys, they will beat and upset Alabama, and it'll be the biggest win in school history for USF. And if you would like to know my final score prediction, I will give it to you right now. I think if USF follows those four steps, those four keys I just gave out, I think they win this game 45-42. Byron Brown or Gary Bohannon, whoever starts, if Bohannon is healthy, I think they go off for 4 touchdowns and over 200 yards passing, because you're going to have to pass the ball to beat Bama. It's just that simple. If you can't beat Bama, you can't beat Bama by running the ball the whole game. Because then they're eventually, like I said, they're just going to stack the box and they're going to make you beat them through the air. And I think USF can do that. As for Ohio State, I think they will also win. But on to something else. I offer memberships to my loyal YouTube supporters. The memberships range from the cheapest one is the opener level of the Talk Sports membership, and it's 99 cents a month. The starter level is $2.99 a month. The premium, the Talk Sports premium level membership is $9.99 a month, and the Talk Sports expert level is $14.99 a month. And with all of those comes, you get certain perks with each with the different memberships. And I would recommend, if you are subscribed to me on YouTube, I'd recommend getting a membership. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? You're missing out on the content I put out on the daily, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Sundays with my esteemed co-host of the Robbie and Alex Show. We talk about college football every Sunday. And next Saturday, we will have play-by-play from my beautiful voice and Robbie's of the Ohio State Buckeyes Notre Dame Fighting Irish football game at 7:30 on my YouTube channel. Make sure you tune into that live stream. You don't want to miss some of the incredible calls I will be making that night. And please, if you haven't already, like and subscribe on the video. And also follow me over on Twitch at Alec Buckeyes 24. thank you. That'll do it for the stream tonight.